Apex Legends Mobile. Apex Legends Mobile is one of the biggest mobile game releases of 2022. It's a battle royale game where players select a legend, join a squad and try to survive until the end. In terms of the mechanics, it's a fairly standard FPS game, except this one has a third-person option as well. Chinese Parents. Chinese Parents is a life simulator where you play the life of an average Chinese kid. You have 18 years to grow up, make decisions, explore various relationships, and do what you want before the big Gaokao test. Players have some freedom to play how they want. There are options to be lazy, or you can study your brains out and get the highest possible grade. The game has a decent cast of characters and most decisions have an impact on how the game turns out. Dislyte. Dislyte is a gacha mobile RPG. It works like most gachas. You summon heroes, level them up, equip them with good weapons, and use them to defeat bad guys. The combat is well animated, but it's nothing terribly different from other games in the genre. Where it separates itself is with its extras. There is a rhythm game that gives you additional resources. It has a good soundtrack and the heroes have easily recognizable names. It's a good game in this space and has a lot of potential. Dungeon of Gods. Dungeon of Gods is a mobile RPG with some roguelike and hack-and-slash elements. Players move around the battlefield and slay enemies left and right. Clearing dungeons gives you more abilities, more loot, and other stuff. The further you go, the better your character gets. There are a few different dungeons to play through and each one has its own theme and set of items. The early game is pretty fun and addictive. However, the end game can get pretty grind-heavy. Echoes of Mana. Echoes of Mana is the latest gacha RPG from Square Enix. This one takes place in the Mana universe and players will have plenty of opportunities to obtain heroes from the various Mana games. The combat is 2D hack-and-slash style with abilities to make things easier. You travel between worlds to obtain the things you need to save the world. The combat is more engaging than most, and it's fairly free-to-play friendly. Most complaints from players revolve around the limited stamina, the controls being a little janky, and long loading times. Gunfire Reborn. Gunfire Reborn is an FPS adventure game with some roguelite and RPG elements that's already pretty popular on PC. The game features both solo and multiplayer modes with up to 4 players. There are different heroes to play with, a bunch of weapons to use, and a pretty decent story to play through. The price tag covers everything in the game with some optional heroes available via DLC. It's very slightly reminiscent of Borderlands with its art style, but it definitely doesn't play the same. Mythic Legends. Mythic Legends is a new auto-battler with some strategy game elements. It also has card collecting elements. It starts with collecting heroes in the form of cards. You play them against players online. Heroes have synergies that help them do better together than they do alone. The game also has a few different game modes, leaderboards, rewards and trophies to earn, and more. It's a unique take on the auto-battle genre, but it does have some balancing issues that give players who pay money a bit too much of an advantage. It's otherwise pretty good. Nova, Iron Galaxy. Nova, Iron Galaxy is a strategy game with some idle game elements that takes place in space. A player starts the game by building a ship, then gaining some resources, getting some updates, and creating fleets. A lot of folks may be turned away by the idle game stuff like the tapping. However, this one is actually quite a bit deeper than many others in the genre. The only downsides are the less than ideal controls when in combat and slow progression. 7 Mortal Sins X-TASY. 7 Mortal Sins X-TASY is a JRPG with, you guessed it, gacha elements. The story is about a fallen angel named Lucifer who launches an attack against the 7 mortal sins. Time Defenders. Time Defenders calls itself a tower defense game with some RPG elements. We agree with that assessment, even if it's a bit more of an RPG than anything. There are 70 heroes in the game for you to collect. You use them to cut off enemy attacks and in turn, they level up. You can lay multiple heroes on any given level to help you eliminate the waves of enemies. In addition, the game includes a storyline, good art and animated cutscenes, a rarity in the tower defense genre. It has a lot of potential to be among the better ones. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.